the one thing? Yeah, this is a really interesting presentation, thinking how I put this, what I want to kind of share with you today. And probably the key thing is, so I spent a lifetime studying all these various topics, leadership, management, business, sales, really just kind of inhaling everything that I can, because I'm really, I don't know, whether it's a self-help junkie or whatever, it's just really kind of taking all this stuff in. And I've studied the exceptional habits of extraordinary leaders, successful businessmen, people like Bill Gates, Jack Welch, just some of these really inspirational people that wrote lots of books, applied a lot of different things. And just like NLP, I've dedicated my life to discover the difference that makes a difference. And we only have a really kind of short time together, and it would be impossible for me to give you all of this knowledge and wisdom that I've gained over the years into you in this short time. So I was really kind of, how do I kind of boil this down? So I asked myself one question, and that question is, if I was to boil all this information, knowledge and wisdom down into just one thing, what would I do? What would that be? So the first question, and I was able to figure this out, so I was able to figure, what's that one thing that I want you to take away? But the first question I have, are you ready to receive this information? Because there was an opening, I think it was the first speaker, is it David? Yeah. So he talked about the light bulb and being able to, how many psychologists take to change the light bulb. And I thought, like, that's just a perfect thing. You have to be able to, the light has to be willing to turn on. So I want to figure, is all your lights on? Are your lights on? You ready to go? Yeah. Okay. So are you ready to open your mind, empty your cup, and become very, very curious? Are you ready to discover that one thing that will make the biggest difference in your life?
Yeah! Sell the truck, I'm going ahead.
That's it. Your superpower. Now this is inspired by Seth Godin in Linchpin, his book, and I was so inspired by this, I said I have to put talking around this. So it's Unleash Your Superpower. So let me explain. So one of my favorite comics was the Justice League of America. Everyone ever remember that, the Justice League? I think there's even some Saturday morning cartoons, I remember, and the Wonder Twins and all these things in my way back when. And what was the cool thing about the Justice League? It was a place for all these these superheroes to hang around, right? And every so often, usually the story was the same. All the superpowers or superheroes worked together to solve some evil that was going to take over the world, kind of thing. And they kind of banded together to work on that problem. And usually it would start off, the story was usually the same. The mayor would come in, some new guy would walk into the Justice League. And there would be a superhero there that needed to introduce themselves. So like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, we know these guys, no introduction necessarily, right? But there'd be this one guy in the back, and he would say, I'm the Wasp. And I have this ability to shrink down to 1 inch in height. It allows me to get into small spaces and go in unnoticed. I have insectoid type wings that allows me to fly. And if I get into a tussle or something, I can sting my enemies with my stinger. And I thought, wow, that's just so cool. It really kind of identifies what that person's all about and what they're trying to do. So when I work with my clients about unleashing their superpower, I usually get things like, I'm creative. I'm good at technology. It's the real problem with that is, where's the super? Right? It's just there's just nothing there, right? And what I want you really kind of the message I want to kind of take away is that for you to kind of connect with your superpower and figure out what that is. So there's really three key things that you need to focus on. First one is strengths, second is passion, and the third is purpose. So there's a handout in your little your thing for you to, as a reference point to kind of take this away. And the three things kind of going to talk quickly about each of these three. So strengths is really what's your unique brilliance. So what do you do? There's a unique combination of something that you do that is really, like, it might be technology, that you're one with the machine. That's how I started my thing. I was a technical geek when I first started off. Or you're great with connecting with people. Or there's just something that you do better than anybody else. Now, you probably have to go ask somebody else what that is. Because you're so close to your strength that you don't realize that it's a strength. Right? You have to go, like, someone will give you, oh, you're great at that. And he goes, isn't everybody? Right? You're that close to it, so you really need to get that feedback on what your unique brilliance is. The next one is your passion. And this is where dedicating yourself to mastery. That's what I really kind of help my clients kind of figure out, is what that path is that you're going to dedicate their life to becoming an expert in. And it really has to align with your passion, because you're going to spend so much time on this. Please love what you're doing. Right? So that's really kind of the passion piece. And the third one is the purpose. And that's what or who do you want to serve? So is there a particular target market, a particular group of people, a particular story, a life story that you have that you're able to connect with a particular group. And that's really, it's that combination. So, do you want to know what my superpower is? Yeah. I got to put on tape for this. So. Yeah. There we go.
The count.
So when the microphone is really good, we'll okay. Yeah, I'm going to read it out because it was something that it was when I first did this thing. I thought I quickly put a few thoughts to when I was doing my iPad at the time, and I haven't been able to come up with something that's better. So it just seems so authentic at times. So I thought I'd just read it out. So I have the ability to see the bigger picture, to ask powerful questions, to raise the bar, to be objective, to give critical feedback, and to hold people accountable. My passion is mastery. I have dedicated my life to studying the difference that makes a difference. I have a thirst for knowledge, and I'm always on the lookout for the strategies that the best have used to achieve success. I model and implement these strategies to see what works and throw out what doesn't. My purpose is to help others banish mediocrity and pursue mastery. I am able to see the superpower within others. Together, we are able to unlock their genius. With my experience, knowledge, and wisdom, not only do I help my clients discover their superpower, I show them how to apply it in such a way that they are able to do it to double, even triple their income. My enemy is mediocrity. My superpower is mastery. This is my genius, and through it, I express my heart. So I really want to encourage you, so on the back of that postcard piece is three kind of blank spots there where you can kind of fill out your own superpower and really kind of connect with the three key things that with regard to strength, passion, and purpose. And it's kind of a little takeaway for you to use. I'm also quite excited. I just, 2 years ago when I was actually on this stage, I talked about my Rapid Success Blueprint. And I remember holding up the binder, and at that time I was thinking, at some point I got to get this thing online. Well, I've got it online. So it's really cool now. So it's completely rewritten based on the feedback that I've gotten from my clients. It basically takes you through these 12 key questions. I'm not going to go through all the detail here. You can read them. What I encourage you to do is head over to the website, Rapid Success Coach. There is, and you get a sneak peek at this thing. It is really probably my best work. I'm really actually quite proud of this piece. But it's really in line with how you can connect with your particular superpower. And I also have a few gifts for you today. So one is I have a draw for Rapid Success Blueprint, so we're actually going to give one of those away. So there's also a little in your handout. There's a thing for contact information. If you want, we're going to do a draw for Rapid Success Blueprint. I'm also going to give you a draw for Strength Finders. So this is a tool that I use with my clients. It is a phenomenal book that it's got a little code in the back that takes a long-line test. It gives you some very specific feedback on your strengths. So I highly recommend this. If you're trying to think, well, what are my strengths, and you're not getting the feedback that you want, do this, and it'll give you that feedback. So it's called Strength Finders 2 by Tom Rath. And this is where the draw comes in. So when we're doing the speaking or the connecting afterwards, the first 5 people I'm actually going to do a 30-minute coaching session with. We won't do anything, but we'll do that, and I offer that as a gift to everybody. So that's the gifts we have. How much time do I have? Wow, we're going. I talk really fast. That's where the rapid part of rapid comes in.
You have another 5 minutes.
Well, it was really a 45-minute speech that exactly, yeah. So now I can hit this slow. Yeah, so this is the closing thing. So throughout this day, you're going to have sparks of insight. These sparks of insight and genius and moving you closer to unleash your superpower. The challenge will be to keep that spark alive when you go back to wherever it is you go, back to Monday morning. How do you keep that up alive? So I challenge you with one last thing. To identify that one thing that you're going to do differently to keep your spark alive. Because without a clear plan of action, as we've heard from some of the other speakers, we will quickly fall into our old patterns of mediocrity. If I have ignited the spark within at least one of you, then my job is done for today. I go away and put away my cape unless my wife wants me to keep it out. And however, you can sleep soundly knowing that I, and I'm sure a few others in this room, will be out there continuing to unleash their superpowers, bringing hope to the world.